Hi. So I did a playthrough of the Stardew Valley Druid mod last year. I'll leave a link to that video in the description just in case anybody wants to watch it. The creator of that mod made a sort of alternative option to the Druid mod. Now that one only has the powers and the potions. The storyline and the characters have been entirely removed. You're basically playing vanilla Stardew Valley, but with magical powers. I thought it would be fun to see what sort of effect this mod has on a standard Stardew Valley playthrough. Before we begin, however, I want to give a heads up about something. The magical powers in this mod are, well, very powerful. They make a lot of aspects of the game so much easier. So this certainly won't be a challenge video at all. If that type of thing sounds like fun to you, then feel free to give the mod a go yourself. I'll have a link to it down in the description as well. And with all of that out of the way, I hope you enjoy the video. Day 1 is basically a showcase of what we can use our powers to do. Now bear in mind, this is only the tip of the iceberg. I clear away as much of the wood, stone and fibre on the farm as possible. The only reason why I take a break from doing this is because I ran out of energy. That's probably going to be an issue for quite some time, I reckon. In a few moments you'll see that I have over 100 each of the 3 items I just mentioned, along with a few coal, mixed and spring seeds. The mod changes the way spring seeds work. They don't produce forage items anymore. Instead, they turn into the crops from their season. So we are going to be getting cauliflower, garlic, parsnips, strawberries, basically everything. I wanted to explain that before going any further. With that out of the way, let's make a chest and head into town. I introduce myself to many villagers and sell my seeds. I buy a grand total of 75 parsnip seeds. I want to talk about why I did that as I explore the town and the forest. Parsnips have become one of the most important crops we can grow simply because of the mod we're using. There's an entire section in our journal dedicated to potions. There are other things in the journal, but we'll cover one area at a time. So we can take a parsnip and turn it into a potion. This potion gives us 40 energy when we consume it. The mod also allows you to automatically consume potions when your energy is low. Every single parsnip I bought today will be turned into potions the moment they've grown, as well as pretty much every other parsnip we grow during this playthrough. I'll save a few parsnips for the community center, the shipping collection and gifting purposes, but yeah, we're going to be planting hundreds if not thousands of parsnips during spring. We'll be able to make the absolute most of our powers if we do. After buying a couple of salads, I returned to the farm. While I was attempting to figure out the best way to hoe the ground, I accidentally rediscovered that I can turn into a dragon. I completely forgot I can do this. I can then use my dragon breath ability to hoe large patches of the ground in a very short period of time. After planting all of my seeds, I use my wield power on them. This power applies a sort of magical fertilizer to them. It greatly speeds up the entire growth process. So I mentioned something called a wield power there. I hope I'm not doing this too frequently already, but that's another thing I want to explain. There are 6 types of powers, or rights as they're called in the mod. We've already seen 2 of them. The right of the wield is what I used to destroy the weeds and stone and wood this morning, and it applied the fertilizer to my crops. The second one we saw is the right of ether. This one is pretty simple. It allows us to turn into a dragon. I'll cover the other 4 rights when we use them for the first time. I was under the impression that each right was linked to a specific tool. So, for example, If I want to use my wield power, I have to hold the pickaxe. This is incorrect. It doesn't matter what tool or item you're holding. All that matters is the number on your toolbar at the bottom of the screen. If you have the first square in the toolbar selected, you'll be using the wield power. The second square is the second power, and so on. The right of ether is the fifth square, 1 and 5. Those are the important ones right now. One really cool thing you can do as a dragon is go swimming. What's even cooler than that is the ability to dive underwater and find some rather valuable items. Fish, foraging items, artifact troves, and, well, unfortunately, trash. Well, I say unfortunately, but we can turn trash into potions, so I suppose it's actually a good thing. I water a few more of my crops. I still don't have all of them watered. Then I run out of energy, which has become a trend already. I decide to dive into the pond on the farm. I was hoping to find algae or a fish, so I can eat it. What I find instead is a monster. If you defeat the monster in a minigame, you'll receive a very valuable item. Well, they tend to be pretty valuable anyway. Alright, day 1 has already gone on for way too long. Let's go to sleep and see how our skills have been affected by today's tomfoolery. Level 1 in mining and fishing. Mining makes sense. We did destroy a lot of rocks after all. I did forget about the fishing experience you get from those deep diving adventures. If you find a fish, you also get the fishing XP that you would have gotten from catching it the normal way, with a fishing rod. After watering my crops on day 2, I head to the beach and have an exhilarating conversation with William. I'm sure we all know the drill. He gives us a fishing rod. In a normal playthrough, this right here would almost certainly be the beginning of multiple days in a row spent fishing, but not here, because we have many options for what we want to spend our days doing. As much as I enjoy fishing, I want to see what other items I can get from diving underwater. It goes without saying that artifact troves are incredibly useful at this point in the game. Not to sound ungrateful, but I'm hoping we'll be able to find something other than those. My mission to get anything of value ends abruptly as I'm defeated by a monster. Oh well, at least this gives me an excuse to show you something else the dragon ability can do. This is one of the most satisfying things you can do in this mod. It is nothing short of cathartic to be able to clean up the entire farm as a dragon. And we're getting a lovely bonus in the form of many resources. I tend to wait until I have a gold pickaxe and a gold axe to go anywhere near the trees, boulders, logs. Basically do what I'm doing here and clean up the farm. This is genuinely a game changer. I feel like we've done more than enough for the day, so I am going to Sleepy Town. I hit level 2 in foraging. That isn't surprising considering how many trees I chopped down, in a way. Parsnips are ready for harvest on day 3, which means it's time for us to make potions. There are 3 rows of potions. The first 4 in each row are all in the same category. So we have 3 different categories with 4 tiers of potions in each one. You can ignore the other 5 that aren't involved in that. Again, I'll cover those when we actually make them. After clearing away everything on the farm, I plant all of my seeds, and I use my wield power on them. Remember the enemies that appear when we dive underwater? They can drop goods. Now goods are, well, they're everything that you're seeing on the screen right now. Each one does something different. They can be turned into potions, applied to different gems to make a prismatic shard, and so many more uses. Another way of getting these goods is by using the wield power near bushes, trees, and water. Spirits and animals will pop out and drop these goods. We have a powder box. These are pretty similar to potions. The difference being they give different bonuses rather than health and energy. I want to highlight two powders specifically right now. This mod allows you to throw bombs rather than place them on the ground. There's a powder that transforms your bombs into friendship bombs. Depending on what type of bomb you toss at a villager, you'll get between 30 and 60 friendship points. Very handy. Powder number 2 works very well alongside the friendship one. It gives you a chance to not actually consume a bomb when you throw it. I think that's plenty of information for now. Let's finish off the day. Level 3 in farming, level 5 in foraging, and level 2 in mining. Carrots have been harvested on day 4. Let's discuss rite number 2, the Rite of Mists. This one summons a lightning bolt. It does different things depending on what it hits. Right now, I'm using it on scarecrows, which results in a few crops around the scarecrow being watered. The area it covers is significantly smaller than in the full playthrough of the mod I did last year. I don't know if that's going to stay the same for the rest of this playthrough. Maybe there's a way we can improve it? We'll find out at some point. Probably anyway. I use my wield power while walking past Penny for some tasty bonus friendship points. After breaking open artifact troves and geodes, I donate everything I can to the museum. I receive cauliflower and ancient seeds and the crafting recipe for ancient seeds, along with 250 gold. I spend the morning walking around town, talking to the villagers and using my wield power on them. I plant the seeds I got from Gunther and make even more scarecrows. I'm going to be using these instead of sprinklers. They're more convenient for me to make. At least they are right now. Once again, I have an early night. I adopt a cat on the morning of day 5. Welcome to the farm, Yugi. I harvest parsnips and potatoes and I water my crops. Well, the scarecrows watered most of them for me, but you know what I mean. I sell a full stack of wood to Robin and I buy the first backpack upgrade. Just to clarify, you can just assume I'm using my wield power on literally every villager I encounter on any given day. Gotta work on those friendships. I meet Marlin in the mines. He gives me a rusty sword. I don't appreciate being given a weapon that does less damage to the enemies than tickling them. However, this isn't a big deal here. Never mind having a weapon. We have a dragon at our disposal. As if that isn't enough, it's time to introduce rite number 3, the Rite of Stars. This one calls a meteor down from the sky. This meteor destroys all of the rocks in the mines. That's a bit of an understatement actually. It destroys every item it hits. We'll have to be very careful when we use the Rite of Stars on the farm. It's amazing for destroying trees, but it also hits your scarecrows, furnaces, every machine really. Another thing we can do is summon a gravity circle. I'm not sure what to call it. It pulls enemies in close to it and seemingly applies a debuff to them. I don't know for certain, but it feels like the enemies being pulled in are defeated in one hit every time. Speaking of defeating enemies, if we use our dragon breath to do so, enemies have a chance to drop food. We are tearing through our supply of potions because of how much I'm using the Rite of Stars, so that food is going to get ate. I leave the mines when I reach floor 15, but only to make a chest or 3 and bring them over to the mines. Right, I've just made it to floor 18 and I'm already out of potions. Thankfully, cave carrots can be used to make the same potion that parsnips can be used to make. When all is said and done, I've made it down to floor 30. I found plenty of ore, an ancient seed, coal, 2 glow rings, and monster loot along the way. I plant my seeds before going to bed. Level 3 in mining and level 1 in combat have been reached. For context, the voiceover for the first 5 days is 42 minutes right now, mainly because I am flubbing so many lines. I wish I could explain how terrible I am at recording voiceovers. Like, 75% of any voiceover I do is unusable. I have to edit it so much. Every one of them. I'm not good at talking. I can say 1 to 3 sentences like perfectly, and then I mess one up. That tends to start a trend where I just can't get a sentence right. I've lost count of how many times I've spent like 2 or 3 minutes trying to record one sentence. And it's never a long one, it's pretty much always a short sentence. Anyway, enough rambling. Clinton is here on day 6. He gives me the crafting recipe for the furnace. Marilyn has sent me a letter. If we can defeat 10 slimes, then we'll be able to enter the Adventurers Guild. That we shall do. I make bug steaks and furnaces. Tass, how's it going, boy? I toss a bit of copper ore into the furnaces. Oops. I'm gonna try that again. I make bug steaks and furnaces, toss copper ore into said furnaces, and continue working through the mines. Normally, getting from floor 30 to floor 40 is a miserable experience for me. That isn't the case here, because of, well, everything. So it was fine. After a little bit of time, I make it to floor 40. Things are about to become even easier. The Rite of Stars can target the shards of ice, which makes it somehow even more convenient to find ladders. I'm feeling good after making it to floor 50. I'm prioritizing the Dragon Breath attack so I can get food from enemies. Everything is truly going really well right now. I skedaddle down to floor 60, then I skedaddle even further and harder down to floor 70. There was almost enough time for me to make it to floor 80. Almost, but not quite. I pass out on floor 77. I hit level 5 in mining and I choose the miner perk. We should be getting even more ore from this point forward. Day 7. After reaching floor 90 in the mines, I meet Mayor Lewis outside the community center. This building has been abandoned. Lewis isn't happy about it. Is he going to do anything to fix it himself? No, of course he isn't. Luckily for him, I'm going to be doing the community center route. I am in dire need of parsnips. I've been collecting as many cave carrots as possible. I'm not going to say it's been difficult to do that, but parsnips would be a lot easier. I make it down to floor 100, securing my first star drop of the playthrough. I pass out on floor 108. I've invested in the second tier of potions on day 8. I use red mushrooms to upgrade the parsnip/cave carrot potions. These ones give 80 energy as opposed to 40. I say good morning to my scarecrows and I harvest a couple of parsnips and garlic. The wizard wants me to meet him in his tower, so that is what I do. He teaches me the language of magical creatures called Junimos. We can now begin donating items to the community center. The spring foraging and construction bundles have been completed, and a red mushroom, crystal fruit, and a winter root have been donated to the same room. I donate a parsnip and a potato to the pantry room. Finally, I donate everything to the boiler room. The minecart system will be repaired overnight, and every room in the center is now open. Sensational. I reach floor 110 in the mines, steamroll my way through the enemies on the next 5 floors, and I make it to floor 115. Then I reach the very bottom, where I obtain the skull key. We could try to unlock the desert before the desert festival takes place. It would be interesting to see how the druid mod affects the festival, specifically the skull caverns. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I toss many an item into the shipping bin. This does mean I'll be starting fresh when it comes to copper, iron and gold ore. That being said, I feel like it was worth it. I earned over 40,000 gold from everything. We can already afford the entirety of the vault room. Demetrius has a proposition for us on day 9. He wants to perform a science experiment in the cave on the farm. Mushrooms please. Cauliflower and strawberries have been harvested thanks to the spring seeds. While I donate money to the vault room, I want to point out how often it's been raining. That is typical. It barely rains in a normal playthrough for me, but it rains all the time in this one. I spend the day in the mines collecting iron and gold ore. I toss some items into the shipping bin before the day comes to an end. The bus to the desert has been fixed and I've hit level 4 in farming, along with level 5 in combat. As if all of that wasn't enough, I earn almost 6,000 gold from the items I shipped. Ma'am has sent me cookies on day 10. I give sashimi to Vincent for his birthday. I forget what I gave to Lewis for his birthday. It wasn't a loved gift, and neither is the sashimi for Vincent unfortunately. The next birthday is Haley's on day 14. She loves coconut, which you can find in the desert, so we'll be good for hers. And I can only assume we'll be fine for everybody after her too? It shouldn't be too difficult for us to find an item everybody loves. I buy 284 parsnip seeds. Alas, I did have to buy them from Joja because Pierre's shop is closed on Wednesdays. I sell a few gold bars and use my wheeled power to hold the ground. I'm noticing something interesting. You have to be holding the hoe in the first inventory slot for this to happen. If you have any other item or tool in that first square, or it's empty, the wheeled power won't hold the ground. I say hello to everybody in the saloon and I buy some coffee. Cauliflower has been harvested on day 11. Aside from parsnips, I'm going to hold on to pretty much every crop I grow during spring. I want to make sure I'll have everything I need for the cooking recipes in the future. I believe I'm noticing something while I'm activating my scarecrows. I want to make sure... Yeah, okay, they're watering a much larger area now. I'm assuming it's related to our farming level. We're level 4 right now, and that's already a massive improvement. The bookseller has come to town. I don't buy anything, I just wanted to say hi. I buy a single bean starter before heading to the desert and entering the skull caverns. I am aware now that what I'm about to say will sound very silly. I wanted to see how effective my powers would be inside here before we really go all in on the desert festival. I didn't want to get my hopes up and end up doing horribly when that festival begins on day 15. I had nothing to worry about. This shouldn't have been surprising at all. I don't know why I had any doubt. My biggest takeaway from today is I am really glad I planted all of those parsnips. I'm able to go pretty far inside here thanks to the food being dropped by enemies. So I imagine we'll do even better when we have potions and automatically consume them. As for today's Skull Cavern run itself, I collect hundreds of different ore, monster loot and even a prismatic shard. The day I've been waiting for has finally arrived. I harvest well over 200 parsnips on day 12. I also harvest rhubarb and cauliflower, and I read a letter from Mr. Key. If we can make it to floor 25 in the caverns, he'll send us 10,000 gold. We already got a lot further than floor 25 yesterday, so we shall be receiving our money tomorrow. I hold on to 5 gold star parsnips and turn the rest into potions. I retrieve my furnaces from the mines and donate a cauliflower, 5 parsnips and a yam. After selling a few crops, I use my money to buy at least 10 of every spring crop seed. Returning to the farm, I place my furnaces down and get to smelting. I even add 4 more furnaces to our smelting station. While they're working away, I plant all of my seeds. In a very haphazardly manner, might I add. I sell iridium ore to Clinton, turn in a quest he gave me, and donate items to the museum. I receive many rewards for which I am eternally grateful to Gunther for. I do a bit of foraging in the desert before trading a prismatic shard for the galaxy sword. I don't need it, but it's the galaxy sword. You kinda have to get it in every playthrough. It's a rite of passage, isn't it? I meant to bring tree saplings with me, but I forgot. I end up having to sell a couple of pieces of spring forage so I can afford another bus ticket. I spend the remainder of the day planting all of my tree seeds. I hit level 7 in farming and earn 13,000 gold from iridium bars. Mr. Key has sent us our money on day 13. I harvest a few strawberries, collect iridium bars, and toss them into the shipping bin. Here's another thing the Rite of Mists does, or the Neptune's power as I like to call it, mainly because it's very difficult for me to say the actual name, the MISTS. If I use my Neptune power on the statue I get teleported to when using a totem, I get 1 or 2 of the associated warp totem. I spend a bit of time in the mines collecting copper ore and use all of it to make more furnaces. I fill them with gold ore before attending the Egg Festival. I buy 230 strawberry seeds and have a lovely conversation with Elliot. He was the last villager I had to introduce myself to, hence me pointing that out. The main event of the day begins. The egg hunt. I emerge victorious and receive the illustrious, the wonderful, the third thing, straw hat. I spend a bit of time dilly-dallying with my furnaces after the festival. Rather than planting my strawberry seeds immediately, this was a questionable choice on my part. Luckily, I didn't face any consequences for this horrible choice because I got all of my seeds planted. I even had enough time to use my wield power on them. I earned 20,000 gold from strawberries and gold and iridium bars. The morning of day 14 is fairly uneventful. I harvest a few strawberries and cauliflower, which I've definitely said before recently enough as well, and use my scarecrows to water my crops. Things get more exciting when I visit the traveling cart. I buy a rare seed before using my Neptune power to break the log in front of the secret woods. I ask Robin to build a coop on the farm, collect gold ore, and make mega bombs. In order to make the friendship powder, we need coral, as well as another powder to use as the base. Thankfully, the base isn't difficult to make. I can use amethyst, topaz, jade, or sugar. With my friendship bonus active, I toss bombs at villagers. I know it seems incredibly counterintuitive, but it works. I get 60 points from a mega bomb and a further 25 points by using my wield power. along with 20 points for simply talking to them. That's 105 points every day for those 3 things. Friendships tend to be the most stressful aspect of the game for me, so this makes me very, very happy indeed. Day 15 has arrived, and with it comes the harvesting of coffee beans, rhubarb, and, thankfully, a few parsnips. I collect a few salmon berries before having a little kerfuffle with a mega bomb in town. I meant to throw it. I buy the second backpack upgrade before getting the bus to the desert. I ask the chef to make me a dish using rare fruit and uncomfortably hot sauce. This gives a bonus to my speed and my luck. I accept a challenge from Marlin to reach floor 30 in the caverns. I'll receive 50 calico eggs for completing it. This is why I'm here. If I spend the entirety of today, day 16 and day 17 inside here, I could potentially walk away with hundreds of strawberry seeds. The dragon ability makes it incredibly easy to increase my egg rating. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, your egg rating increases by 1 for every 5 floors you go past. You can also interact with the calico statues for an extra point each time. As tempting as it is for me to take a bit of a creative risk and let the entire Skull Cavern run play, I don't really see the point in doing that. It's the same as a normal cavern run, but with eggs. By the time I leave the caverns at 1 in the morning, I've got an egg rating of 40, along with over 400 eggs already in my inventory. I talk to Gil, who gives me 200 more eggs as a reward, and a lovely hat. I trade all of my eggs for 131 strawberry seeds. I hit level 10 in mining, so bars are now worth 50% more gold. I begin day 16 by equipping the most beautiful pair of shoes I have ever seen in my entire life. I add more furnaces to my smelting station and toss iridium ore into all of them. Kale has been harvested, our crops have been watered, and I've planted my strawberry seeds. Our farming duties are essentially done for the entire day. I use my wheeled power at the beach to summon a flock of birds. They drop a few fish on the ground, so I pick them up. I fix the broken bridge, giving me access to coral and sea urchin. The important one being coral because I need it for the friendship bomb. As for the desert festival, I do basically the exact same thing as yesterday. I ask for the same dish, I throw friendship bombs at villagers, and I even go to the— oh wait, this is new actually. I didn't do this yesterday. The traveling cart comes to this festival. It's selling rare seeds, so I buy one. Marlin gives me the same challenge, and I think you get the point of what happened today. Strawberry seeds aren't sold on the second day of the festival, but that's okay. I can save my eggs for tomorrow. I find ores, a crystallarium, gems, all of the goodies, and so much more. Once again, I really need to plant parsnips. Energy is very quickly becoming an issue. After telling Gil that I have an egg rating of 31, I've got a total of over 600 eggs. I consider trading my eggs for the book that gives you foraging experience, but I did plant a lot of tree seeds here which I'll be chopping down when they've grown, so I think we're okay for foraging experience. I hit level 8 in farming, level 6 in foraging, level 2 in fishing because of the birds at the beach, and level 9 in combat. I toss a diamond into a crystallarium to begin day 17 before tending to my furnaces. Tulips, blue jazz, and potatoes are all harvested, and iridium bars have been sold to Clinton. I go to Robin and ask her to upgrade my coop before finally attending the desert festival. My challenge today for 40 eggs is to collect 15 pieces of iridium ore. Everything went fine today. I completed Marlin's challenge and, It was good. I buy a rare seed and trade my eggs for 154 strawberry seeds. Day 18 begins with iridium bars and the planting of even more strawberries. I make more mega bombs for friendship purposes, collect coral and buy a fiberglass rod. Pamela's birthday is today, so I give her a cactus fruit and partake in the usual shenanigans. I spend a bit of time working on my friendships before settling down at the river in town. My Neptune power can create fishing spots. These do two things. The fishing minigame begins automatically when a fish is hooked, and they act as a sort of magic bait. They allow us to catch fish that we wouldn't usually be able to catch at this point in the game. For example, whatever this fish is right here, I came nowhere close to catching it. Now, I could simply walk away, but there's one quality that I have that these fish are about to learn all about the hard way.
When they go low, I go lower.
I dive into the water and spend the entirety of the rest of the day absolutely decimating the local fish population. I'm not here for a challenge. Alright, I have watched in awe as people do things that I simply could never dream of doing. I'm talking about Gwendolyn completing the shipping collection in order. I'm talking about the Habu achieve perfection in 112 days. I'm especially talking about Blade doing things that my brain simply cannot even begin to comprehend. I am nowhere near as strong as any of those people. I've been feeling really good about myself because of all of the powers at my disposal. That fish upset me, thus ruining the good vibes that have been established. In fact, forget about just going lower. When they go low, I go straight to hell. Now, in all honesty, my thought process here was I was just getting fish to use as energy. Unfortunately, well, depending on how you look at this, it could be fortunately, but for me it's unfortunately. That isn't the only result of what I did. I've hit level 6 in fishing, and I truly didn't mean to. Let's have a conversation about this as I visit the traveling cart on day 19. I feel bad for leveling up and fishing this way. I can't undo those levels, and I know technically I didn't break any rules. It's part of the mod, but I'm more level-headed now, and I regret what I did. So, here's what I'm going to do. I would like to offer an apology in the form of a promise. From this point forward, I will catch every fish the intended way, by fishing. Even and especially the fish I caught yesterday. I will complete the entire fishing collection without diving into water. After harvesting strawberries, I sell all of them to Pierre. While I'm here, I might as well buy the following items. The crafting recipe for grass starter, 25 cauliflower and potato seeds, 1 jazz and tulip seed, and 455 kale. I spend even more money in robins on wood and the final upgrade for the coop. I spend the remainder of my money on rhubarb seeds. I sell iridium bars to Clinton before spending the day planting my seeds. I head to the shop for a second time to buy, and bear with me here, a full stack of parsnip seeds and 851 kale seeds, which I then sold back to Pierre by accident. Luckily, I can buy them back for the same amount of gold he gave me for them, so this could have gone a lot worse. Here is the farm on day 20. It looks atrocious, I know. Believe it or not, it's about to get even worse. I utilize my Rite of Stars to hold the ground. By the time the day comes to an end, I get everything except 600 parsnips planted. Not bad, considering how many seeds I bought yesterday. Day 21 begins with the watering of our crops. I sell iridium and gold bars and ask Robin to upgrade the house. Okay, time for me to fulfill my apology. Or make a start on it at least. I buy the iridium fishing rod and begin at the beach. I catch an anchovy, a sardine, a flounder, and a herring. Moving to the river, I catch a sunfish and a smallmouth bass. Up at the mountains, I catch a chub, a largemouth bass, a bullhead, and a carp. I return to the river to catch a bream and then to the beach to get a halibut. I use a rain totem I found in the caverns before going to sleep. Cauliflower, strawberries, rhubarb, coffee beans, and parsnips are all ready for harvest on day 22. Even more parsnips are planted while I'm harvesting everything. We've got over 400 potions ready to be consumed when needed. I catch a sandfish but not a scorpion carp. It doesn't want to show up. There's a few more fish I have to catch today, so I'll come back here at a later date to get the scorpion carp. I catch a wood skip in the secret woods before heading to the community center. I'm about to say a lot in a very short period of time. I hope you're ready. I donate a sunfish, a sandfish, a wood skip, a sardine, a carp, a largemouth bass, a bullhead, a bream, a crab, a crayfish, a lobster, and a snail to the fishing room. A mackie roll, a fried egg, a purple mushroom, a chub, and an aquamarine have been donated to the bulletin boards. The bulletin board bundles. Sorry, I know I messed up that sentence, but I'm afraid to try that one again. That was my 12th attempt at that sentence. I messed up before reaching purple mushroom every time. I don't want to risk doing it again. The mackie roll and fried egg, by the way, they were dropped by monsters I defeated with the dragon breath. Finally, a cactus fruit, a cave carrot, and a coconut have been donated to the exotic foraging bundle. And I donate a green bean to finish off the spring crops bundle. I almost forgot to mention that one. I catch a shad, a catfish, and an eel, all of which are donated, along with a frozen geode. I find a cockle on the beach which has been used to finish off the crab pot bundle. Level 10 in farming has been reached, and so has level 7 in fishing. Copious amounts of kale and strawberries have been harvested on day 23. I sell a few things to Abigail's father, earning a delicious 240,000 gold. A goby has been caught. I catch a ghostfish and a stonefish on floor 20 of the mines. I move to floor 60 where I use the Neptune power on the water just to see what would happen. It takes quite a while, but I finally catch an ice pip. I round off today's fishing adventure with a lava eel. Parsnips, among other crops, are ready on day 24. The flower festival takes place today. I buy a rare crow and the tub of flowers crafting recipe. I earn over 30,000 gold, mainly from strawberries I tossed into the shipping bin. A routine trip to the secret woods takes place on day 25. Quite a few geodes have been cracked open, and I've donated every new gem I received from them to the museum. I retrieve my artifact troves and bring them to Clinton 2. I collect all of the refined quartz that has been smelted. The reason shall be revealed very soon. After grabbing coral from the beach, I buy some sugar to make the base powder. I use it to craft even more friendship powder. I ask Robin to build a barn before spending the day working on my friendships. Before the day comes to an end, I buy cooking recipes in the saloon and some coffee. I've had an idea as the sun rises on day 26. I take the diamonds out of the crystallariums and replace them with fire quartz. I make 13 lightning rods and plop them on the ground. My Neptune power can activate the lightning rods. Kind of. It only works on 5 of them per day. I have no idea why, but I mean, it's okay. We're going to get 5 battery packs every single day, so like I'm more than happy with that. My plan is to take all of the battery packs and use them to make more crystallariums. Then we're going to get a full-scale fire quartz factory up and running. You see, instead of making kegs, I'm going to make dehydrators. All I need for them is wood, clay, and fire quartz. Of course, I do need gold and iridium bars to make crystallariums, so off we go to the Caverinos. I hit level 10 in combat and earned 32,000 gold from strawberries. 5 battery packs have been produced on day 27. The crystallariums have already begun producing fire quartz. I think it's time to introduce rite number 4. Well, it's the 5th rite we're encountering so far. Technically, we've already seen 4 of them. This is the one that's activated by selecting the 4th square in the tool bar, the hotbar, that's what it's called. I'm sorry, it really isn't anywhere near as complicated as I'm making it sound. The Rite of Fates does a number of things. We can use it on villagers to play pranks on them, which is fun, I suppose, but that's not what I'm doing with it. What I'm using it for is the effect it has on machinery. We can use one of 5 different items to make a potion called Faith. If I activate the rite while having Faith, any machines around me will immediately finish producing whatever it's producing. I make more crystallariums, harvest crops, and make more furnaces. I don't want to fill my farm entirely with machinery. I need all the space I can get for starfruit during summer, so inside the house they shall go. The remainder of the day is spent collecting copper ore. The smelting operation is in full swing on day 28. I make even more crystallariums, pop fire quartz into them, and harvest strawberries. After a visit to Abigail's father and Clinton, I've got over 350,000 gold. I use all of that money to buy 896 starfruit seeds. I use my Neptune power to get desert warp totems before spending the day in the caverns. And that, finally, brings spring to an end. I feel like that was already the perfect showcase of how much easier the game becomes with this mod. I'm already really excited to see what happens when we complete the community center and especially unlock Ginger Island. It should be a lot of fun exploring that area with these powers. Okay, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. Let's focus on summer first. Day 29 is the beginning of a very important season, perhaps even the most important one. The amount of things we get done during these next 28 days will determine how the rest of this playthrough goes. And that is for true, the whole true, and nothing but the true. We need to earn enough money to buy at least 8 stacks of starfruit seeds, or roughly 3.2 million gold. We then plant and harvest every one of them. We toss them all into dehydrators and sell all of the dried starfruit for around 13 million gold. That covers the gold clock and the 4 obelisks. That's on top of getting the initial 3.2 million gold for the seeds, planting the other summer crops, catching the summer fish, and working on our friendships. I'll also have to do quite a few Skull Cavern runs so I can make bars. Primarily so I can then turn around and make crystallariums, which I'll be tossing fire quartz into. I won't have any issues getting clay and wood, so actually making the dehydrators won't be a problem. Right, let's do this. I sell iridium bars to Clinton and buy a few stacks of wood from Robin. I ask her to build a shed on the farm before making another trip to Clinton. I sell diamonds, donate a couple of items to the museum, and crack open Omni Geodes. More items have been donated to Gunther. I spend the day planting all of my starfruit. It doesn't take too long to do this, as well as watering them and using the wield power on them, which is good, very good. We're going to be planting a lot more in the near future, so it's comforting to know that it won't take ages. I add more crystallariums to the collection on day 30, popping fire quartz into them as I do. Gunther is here. He gives me the key to the sewer as a token of appreciation for all of the items I've donated. You are very welcome. I put the Neptune power to good use, as has become a tradition of sorts. The wield power turns the remains of our spring crops into summer crops. Now, I got rid of most of the remains yesterday, but it could be useful during fall. We'll have to keep this in mind. Our trees in the desert are almost ready to be chopped down. I spend the day in the Skull Caverns collecting ore. Day 31 begins with another familiar task, collecting bars and tossing even more ore into our furnaces. I make more crystallariums, toss fire quartz into them, and sell prismatic shards and the iridium ore. The shop owned by Abigail's father is closed because it is Wednesday. This means I unfortunately have to give some money to the Joja Corporation. I buy a decent amount of the seeds for summer crops, with a heavy focus on melons as I have to get 5 gold star ones for the community center. I ask Robin to upgrade the shed, plant all of the seeds I bought, and work on my friendships for the remainder of the day. I earn 37,000 gold from iridium bars. I want to talk about that for a moment as we begin day 32. I like to mention me making money as often as I can in my videos, whether it's from the shipping bin or selling items in different shops. There's probably no need for me to do so, especially as frequently as I do, but I like to make sure that we're all on the same page, avoid any confusion as to where certain money came from. Oh, by the way, the cooking recipes that you get from reaching different friendship levels with all of the villagers, they should start pouring in from this season onwards. Friendships are nowhere close to being an issue anymore, so we should get all of those recipes with no hassle. I buy the crafting recipe for the dehydrator and make 107 of them. That's quite a bit more than I was expecting, but I will happily take all of them. I give a birthday present to Jazz, place the dehydrators in the shed, and prepare for a fishing extravaganza. I catch a pike, a rainbow trout, a sturgeon, and that's it. It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but I got humbled by a fish at the beach, so that's why the fishing extravaganza had to end early. I'm gonna go introduce myself to Krobus to make myself feel better about everything. I buy a star drop and 2 crafting recipes from him. I hope you enjoy your time in the sewer, buddy, because you are going to be my roommate before this year comes to an end. I spend a bit of time trying to catch a mutant carp. It didn't go very well. Today wasn't the best in terms of fishing, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll make up for it tomorrow. My house has officially joined my farm in being a complete and utter mess on day 33. I've convinced myself to be fine with this for now by making 21 more dehydrators, and 6 more a short while later. I only need 3 more to fill the remaining space in the upgraded shed. Okay, we're on track. Everything is going to be fine. I use faith on the crystallariums to get more fire quartz. This allows me to make more dehydrators, thus filling the shed entirely. Beautiful. I harvest poppies, red cabbage, radish, wheat, and hay before going to Robin's. I can't afford another shed. Whoops. I was so utterly and entirely discombobulated by this that I went to Georgia Mart for no reason. Eventually I managed to stumble my way into Clinton's. Then I returned to Robin to build shed number 2 before positioning myself at the beach. I catch a red mullet, a tilapia, and a tuna. Unfortunately, the red snapper is refusing to appear, but that's okay because I have an emergency plan. I buy a training rod from William and use it to catch that fish. When it's raining during summer, literally the only fish you can catch with the training rod is the red snapper. It is very handy. I failed to catch the crimson fish. That, as always with certain fish, was a very humbling experience. I turned this defeat into motivation, ultimately emerging victorious. Finally, to end today's fishing expedition, I catch a super cucumber. In terms of the fish I still have to catch, it really isn't looking too bad. I need a puffer fish, an octopus, and the mutant carp. Oh, and the scorpion carp. I forgot about that one. That one too. I also have to put crab pots at the beach and in town. We're on day 34, by the way. I thought I should mention that. But yeah, I still have to get all of the crab pot fish. I got most of them by diving underwater, but I'm not counting those. They're not canon. Okay, that's how I'm going to put it. Blueberries, sunflowers, spangle, pepper, summer squash, and most importantly, starfruit have all been harvested. I'm really glad time pauses when you're picking up a crop. Otherwise, I'd be spending the entire day harvesting everything. Well, maybe not these ones, but definitely when it comes to planting like 2,000 seeds at a time. I toss the starfruit into dehydrators, sell some items, and buy one each of the fruit tree saplings. I donate a poppy, wheat, hay, a red mushroom, a sea urchin, and a sunflower to the bulletin board bundles. Moving to the fishing ones, I've donated a ghostfish, a red snapper, a tuna, a tilapia, and a sturgeon. We're not quite done here, however. I donate a blueberry, a pepper, and a tomato to the summer crops bundle. Then I complete the exotic and summer foraging bundles. I wanted to buy crab pots, but William isn't in his shop. This is becoming a bit of a trend in every playthrough I've done recently. You are on thin ice, William. Not very thin ice, because I respect you. But, like, at the same time, I have no time for this tomfoolery, William. I need you to start cooperating with me. I catch a pufferfish and a dorado before planting my corn seeds. One more trip to the community center takes place today as I donate the pufferfish. To finish off the day, I teleport to the desert. The time has come to destroy all of the trees and earn a scintillating amount of foraging experience while we're at it. Level 8 in foraging has been reached. I collect dried starfruit on day 35. I sell all of it for around 800,000 gold. Wasting no time whatsoever, I buy 2,500 starfruit seeds. I replaced the trees I got rid of yesterday with even more tree saplings and spend the day planting starfruit. Day 36 and 37 was spent doing the same thing. Planting the starfruit, I mean. If I'm being honest, I had it done on day 36, but I felt lazy, so I spent day 37 working on my friendships and literally doing nothing else. I earned 20,000 gold from iridium bars and battery packs, because we are broke. Melons have been harvested on day 38, and hops too, but like melons are way cooler, so that's the important one here. We've also started getting corn, so we should have the 5 gold quality ones we need for the community center within about a week or two. Hello Clinton, and hello money. I collect a bit of forage, plant an apple and a pomegranate tree, and give Maru a cauliflower for her birthday. I ask Robin to upgrade so I meant to write barn in the script. What I've written down is not the word barn, I wrote B-E-R-M. Anyway, I asked Robin to upgrade the berm apparently and donate melons and a corn to the community center. William has decided he actually wants to work today. Thank goodness, I really do need crab pots. I put them in the water. I put them in the water There's too many TH sounds here. I can't do it. I don't know why I wrote it like this. Okay, hold on. I placed them. I feel like I've already messed up. That didn't sound right. I place them in the water. This is what my videos have come to. Me trying to pronounce a very, very simple sentence. I place them in the water at the beach and spend the day in the skull caverns. I earn 30,000 gold from melons. Day 39. Smelt the ore, collect the battery packs and activate the lightning rods. Smelt more ore. The luau takes place today. I throw a gold quality cauliflower into the soup. The governor loves it, so we receive some tasty bonus friendship points with all of the villagers. 90,000 gold has been earned thanks to iridium bars. It is an absolute privilege for me to announce that we officially have all of the gold quality corn we need for the community center on day 40. That was a long sentence. And starfruit is ready for harvest. I didn't get all of them planted on the same day, mainly because I took my time with it, and by that I mean I was even more lazy than I initially said I had been during those 3 days. I did this to myself. I asked Marnie to add chickens, ducks, rabbits, and cows to the coop and barn. I buy 2 auto grabbers and spend over 26,000 gold on hay. I really don't want to run out of food for my animals. In quite a shocking turn of events, it turns out I wasted money. I activated the wheeled power by accident in the coop, and it not only petted my animals, it also put hay in their feeding tray. I tested the friendship bomb on my animals. It didn't work. And I'm fairly certain that Marnie would take my animals away from me if she just saw what I did, so it could have gone a lot worse. I donate 5 corn to complete the quality crops bundle and check on my crab pots. We've already gotten almost everything we can get here at the beach. All I need is a shrimp, then I can move them to the river in town. I catch a scorpion carp. Very casually, I might add. There's a reason why people call me the scorpion carp connoisseur. I'm lying, nobody calls me that. Yet another skull cavern adventure takes place. The rest of the starfruit is ready for harvest on day 41, so I harvest it. Evelyn has very kindly taught me how to make cookies, and I've sold some regular quality starfruit. The remaining 2,300-ish will be thrown into dehydrators. I ask Robin to add 4 goats to the barn, give Alex a prismatic shard for his birthday, and ask Robin to upgrade my... Wait, I messed up. It was Marnie. Marnie added the 4 goats to the barn. My apologies. Sorry, Marnie. And then I asked Robin to upgrade the barn. I ruined the flow of that sentence entirely. I buy a few mini fridges and use them to make my house look even worse. I toss starfruit into dehydrators, take more starfruit out of a chest, and make 108 dehydrators. I place as many of them as I can into shed number 2. I earn 22,000 gold from starfruit. Before we do anything else on day 42, I want to say thank you to the dehydrators. Specifically for how little time it takes for them to produce dried starfruit. They're always ready the following morning, no matter what time you put the starfruit in them on the previous day. They are very efficient machines, I must say. I say good morning to my animals, collect more dried starfruit, and pop even more starfruit into these dehydrators. I interact with the statue in the sewer to change my farming perk. I almost forgot to do that, which would have been a bit of a disaster. We would have missed out on an extra 40% more gold. I collect even more dried starfruit on day 43. I sell all of them for 3.7 million gold. Marnie is not in her shop. Robin, on the other hand, is in her shop, so I ask her to upgrade the shed. We've got all of the money we need for our big starfruit investment, so let's go buy 9 full stacks of them. Day 44 is spent planting starfruit, which brings us to day 45. I was able to plant 3 stacks of them, so we've got 6 more stacks to get through. The crab pots have not produced a shrimp. Please be nice to me. Although, maybe this is karma for what I did during spring when I got embarrassed by a fish. That's understandable. I apologize again, I'm sorry. I try but ultimately fail to catch an octopus before 1 PM. They don't spawn after that time. I guess it wasn't meant to be. I find the Jewels of the Sea book while going after the mutant carp. Yoink! Then I catch the mutant carp. I want to get to level 10 in fishing before summer comes to an end. I'm level 8 right now, I think. If I can get this done, then we'll only have our foraging skill to work on. With that in mind, I spend the day fishing at the beach. The green rain is here on day 46. I need moss, so the entire day shall be spent collecting that item. I make more dehydrators on day 47. Shed number 2 is now full of them too. I ask Robin to build shed number 3 and buy 4 pigs for the barn. We should get all of the animal products for the community center and the shipping collection by the end of fall at the very latest. Today is another fishing day. I want to start working on mastery levels as soon as possible. I don't want the iridium scythe. I need it. Hence, this. You know what? I'm gonna spend every day fishing until I reach level 10. So, day 48, 49, and 50 are all spent fishing. I'm not level 10 on day 51, but starfruit is ready. I just wanted to let you all know. Okay, back to fishing. Alright, unironically, I have horrible news on day 52. I planted around 3 stacks of starfruit yesterday. They won't be ready before summer is over. That's roughly 1 million gold worth of starfruit seeds I just wasted. This is bad. I'm gonna do what will hopefully be the last bit of even my voice heard what I said and decided to leave the build. It vacated the premises because of this harrowing news. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna do what will hopefully be the last bit of fishing I need to do in order to hit level 10. Mainly at this point to keep my mind off this kerfuffle isn't even the word. That is a blunder of monumental proportions. I'm still fishing on day 53, and I'm still fishing on day 54. I don't know why it's taking me so long to get the XP I need. Again, it might be karma. Actually, no, at this point, it definitely is karma. I did catch an octopus on day 53 though, and I've made it to level 10 in fishing. If you really think about it, who truly won in the end? That's right, I did. Nope, I shouldn't have said that. Karma is real, and it's been hitting me with stone cold stunners on the daily for the last few days. I'm not going to push my luck. I lost. Okay, karma won. Seeing all of this dried starfruit is it's a bittersweet moment on day 55. What should have been a time for celebration is merely a reminder of the starfruit seeds I wasted. It really isn't a Neon Aries playthrough unless I make a massive mistake that costs me hundreds of thousands if not well over 1 million gold at some point. It's just what I do. I chop down, in a way, all of the trees in the desert, making sure to plant even more tree saplings as I do. All of my dried starfruit has been sold. I receive a lovely 4.2 million gold. Day 56. The final day of summer has arrived, and what a season it has been. Very much an ups and downs period of time. I take it easy today, working on my friendships before attending the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies. Okay, so summer was a complicated season. We did a lot of things. We filled 2 entire upgraded sheds with dehydrators. We've got over 4 million gold on hand. We have 4 of every animal. Our friendships are going flawlessly. We are 1 level away from being able to work on mastery. Despite all of that, the only thing I can think about right now is the starfruit. I do have an idea though in terms of how we can recover. I'm going to fill the entire farm with cranberries. If I can get to Ginger Island at the very beginning of winter, I can plant the rest of my starfruit over there. But for fall, we're focusing exclusively on cranberries. They are going to be the moneymaker for fall. I'm feeling pretty good, optimistic even. Let's see how things go, shall we? Let's get right to business on day 57. I buy all of the seeds for fall crops. I grab either 25 or 10 of them, depending on what they are, along with 3,000 cranberry seeds. I should be able to get everything planted today as the ground is already hoed. I'm gonna spend the entire day planting all of these. Well, hopefully I get everything planted anyway. And here we are on day 58 where everything has indeed been planted. It takes maybe a minute for me to water all of them. The final item on the agenda for farming is to get the iridium scythe. Then we'll basically be the most efficient we can. The special orders board has been built. I'm hoping the prismatic jelly order will show up during fall. The reward for that one is the crafting recipe for monster musk. If that happens, I'll finish off all of the monster eradication goals before we go anywhere near winter. All of them except for magma sprites. We don't have access to that monster yet. The wizard has given us an order, but he wants ectoplasm, not prismatic jelly. We'll get the mini obelisk crafting recipe for this one, so at least we're getting something. Crabs have taken over William's shop. Uh-oh. Well, actually, no, yay. Gustavo takes all of the crab cakes out of his shop, and for the next few days he'll be selling crab cakes, which is a very good source of a speed boost. I utilized the dragon breath at the beach to get more clay. A shrimp has been produced by the crab pots, so it's time to move them to the river in town. But first, I buy some bait and 300 crab pots. That should cover us for the remainder of the playthrough. I would be very surprised if it didn't. After moving my crab pots to the river, I do a bit of foraging and get my hands on an ectoplasm. I love it when the game doesn't make me spend 10 minutes searching for this item. I bring it to the wizard to complete his order. As we've entered a new season, fishing is at the top of my priority list. I catch a tiger trout, an albacore, and the angler. Before the day comes to an end, I catch the midnight carp. Bok choys are ready on day 59. I ask Robin to upgrade a shed and make 72 dehydrators. I do have enough fire quartz and clay to make even more, so I buy all of the wood I need to make another 54 of them. I might as well grab more fridges, all of the crafting recipes, and a bed. I didn't mean to buy the bed. I catch a salmon before being greeted by something amazing in town. My crab pots have produced a crayfish, a snail, and a periwinkle. All of the crab pot items have been crossed off the list. Taking a look at the fishing collection, I have to get a sea cucumber during fall. And a walleye too. I'm pretty sure I got that by diving underwater. So, I'm not going to count that. The only other fish I have to get again is the stingray. Normally I wouldn't mention every unique fish I've caught in a playthrough, but things are marginally different here. I wanted to put in a special effort. Even now, after all this time, I still feel bad about the diving incident. After catching a sea cucumber, I used the wheeled power on the trees in the desert. After buying a few beet seeds, I spend the day putting basically every crop, foraging item, and fish I've collected into the fridges. I toss eggs into mayonnaise machines, milk into cheese presses, and a bok choy and a spiceberry into preserve jars. We can use a mod called Stardew Progress to see what cooking recipes we still need. It's looking good. Mayonnaise and cheese are ready on day 60. I'm gonna keep making these for the next few days, just to be sure I have enough of everything. Demetrius has sent me a Nautilus shell in the mail. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording the moment when I checked my mailbox. Even though I can read the letter again from the menu, it doesn't say that I specifically got a Nautilus shell, so I'm gonna throw it away. I didn't think the letter would be important because I wasn't expecting any cooking or crafting recipes. This is my way of apologizing to Demetrius for not giving him the respect he deserves. This is a big deal, by the way. I need a Nautilus shell for the community center. Oh well. After harvesting eggplant and amaranth, I toss many new items into the shipping bin. I've been working on the shipping collection since we started the playthrough, so we haven't missed anything, as far as I'm aware anyway. The following items have been donated to the community center: a common mushroom, a hazelnut and a blackberry, cloth, an apple, a pomegranate and cheese, a large milk, a large goat milk, duck egg, and a large white and brown egg, an eggplant, a tiger trout, a fiddlehead fern, a rabbit's foot, and a red cabbage. I buy all of the books the bookseller has for sale. I catch a walleye and bring it to the community center to finish off the fishing room. I spend the remainder of the day foraging and working on my friendships. Cranberry harvest number 1 takes place on day 61. Yams are ready too. What a lovely day already. I fill a third shed with dehydrators and toss cranberries into every single one of them. I got a lovely surprise when I saw that dried starfruit was waiting for me in one of the sheds. Fantastic. We've taken a bit of a break from smelting, but it's time to get back to doing so on day 62. I want to make sure I have enough bars for the crafting recipes in the future. Fairy roses have been harvested and I've corrected a mistake. My pigs are unable to produce truffles, or find truffles, I suppose, because the ground is covered entirely in cranberries. I've cleared out an empty space in front of the barn in the hopes of getting a truffle, and I do. Alas, even more cranberries need to be destroyed because I want to have another shed built. This might be the final shed I make. I'm not entirely positive though. I donate a truffle, goat cheese, and a spiceberry jelly to the center. All we need for the pantry room is a pumpkin. Then we'll only have the bulletin board and foraging rooms left. Many a beet has been harvested on day 63, and I've collected even more dried cranberries. We're getting around 5 or 6 stacks of cranberries per harvest, but even then I'm already close to running out of cranberries to put in dehydrators. We're on day 64 now, by the way. Yesterday was a very simple day. Dried cranberries and friendships. That was all. I harvest pumpkins, sell dried cranberries and starfruit, and buy 50 of each cooking ingredient. I buy wood from Robin and ask her to build yet another Oops. There we go. Now I ask her to build yet another shed. This one will actually be the final one. I buy a workbench and move my furnaces into the smaller shed. I spend the day taking every potential crafting ingredient and putting them into a chest. Or, well, multiple chests. A duck feather has been acquired. I donate 3 apples, a pomegranate, and the feather. The pantry room has finally been completed. Day 65 begins with a gander at the list of cooking and crafting ingredients I need. I want to get the list of crafting ingredients down to one single page during the next 2 weeks. Yeah, two weeks sounds good. The list of cooking ingredients is looking absolutely sensational. I'm very happy about that. Emily and Robin have orders for me. Now, neither one of them gave a crafting recipe as a reward, but I might as well do Robin's. She wants 80 hardwood. I get around 40 hardwood by using the Neptune power on the stumps in the secret woods, so all I have to do is do this one more time. The greenhouse has been unlocked, so I make iridium sprinklers and plant starfruit, along with the remaining 4 fruit trees. I plant 3 rare seeds, and that is it for today. Enough trees have grown in the desert for me to feel ready to chop them all down on day 66. According to the Look Up Anything mod, we only need around 500 more foraging experience. For level 10, that is. We are so unbelievably close. I do everything I can foraging wise in the desert, at the bus stop, and in the forest. I did a full lap of that last area. I was getting a bit anxious, but I was able to level up right before finishing the lap, so to speak. We have to get 10,000 experience to reach Mastery level 1, so off we go to the Skull Cavern. Now, I won't be able to hit level 1 today, but I will come back here again tomorrow morning to finish it off. Also, I could spend an entire week inside here to reach level 5, but I think I've done the math correctly, and we should get to level 4 just by harvesting all of our cranberries during fall. I feel like we're getting close to not having unique things to talk about every day. I imagine the rest of fall is going to get pretty repetitive rather soon, so I think I'll be condensing the remainder of the season down into one segment within the next couple of days. Forage items will now be iridium quality, splendiferous. Here is a look at our mastery level on day 67. We have 7,800 experience points. It only takes a couple of minutes of skedaddling around the Skull Caverns for me to get the remaining 2,200. I unlock farming mastery and put the scythe to good use by harvesting cranberries. And it's condensing time. Here are all of the important things I did during day 68 all the way through day 84. Alongside everything I'm about to say, I was harvesting cranberries, making dried cranberries, and working on my friendships. Okay, let's go. I collect another 40 hardwood and donate a plum to the center. The fall foraging bundle is done and dusted. I buy the Way of the Wind Part 2 book for a lovely speed boost. I deliver the hardwood to Robin to complete her order before turning my attention to the monster eradication goals. I started off with the Duggies, but then I got bored, so I went after Dust Sprites instead. Then I got bored again and found a monster-only floor full of slimes, so I focused on that for a couple of minutes. Then I got bored again, so I... No, this is serious business. I can't laugh here. Then I got bored again, so I tried to use the willpower on the fruit tree saplings. I thought it wasn't working, but I'm watching the footage of this for the first time while writing the script, and it did work, but only on the tree in the bottom left. I donate a bottle of wine and plant oak, maple, and pine trees in the desert, 10 of each. I sprinkle fertilizer on them while doing so. Tappers shall be placed on these so I can get oak resin, maple syrup, and pine tar. Robin has taught me how to make the drum and flute block. I ask her to upgrade my house and accept an order from Demetrius. He wants me to catch 10 albacore. We shall receive the crafting recipe for the computer for this one, so it shall be done. I make a bait maker, toss an albacore I caught during summer into it, and I get, well, albacore bait. It takes very little time for me to get Demetrius's order done because of said bait, and because bubbles appeared. Starfruit has been harvested. I attend the Stardew Valley Fair. I get my Grange display set up and buy almost 3,000 star tokens. I receive 1,000 more of them for coming first place in the Grange display competition. A prize ticket, a rare crow, and a star drop have been purchased. I ask Robin to upgrade my house, harvest cranberries, and place tappers on the trees in the desert. More starfruit. The wizard has another order for me. This right here is the one I've been waiting for. All I have to do is find a prismatic slime, defeat it, and bring the prismatic jelly it drops to the wizard. Sounds simple enough, right? No, I entered the mines at 7 a.m. I found prismatic jelly at 12:40 a.m. That is 17 in-game hours. Cranberries. After making a monster musk, I take a look at the remaining monster eradication goals. It would take no time at all to start with the bats, doggies, and skeletons, but I feel like it would be worth it to get the burglar ring. I begin on floor 55 as I need to defeat dust sprites to get it. Everything changes when I reach floor 58. This floor is a monster-only floor, which would absolutely make the slime eradication goal so much easier. I'm gonna farm this floor instead. I finish off the bat eradication goal on floor 59, an unexpected yet pleasant surprise. Then I farm floor 58 over and over and over again. That made it sound like I spent a long time here. I didn't. It only took a few minutes for me to finish off this eradication goal. I proceed to finish off the dust sprite goal on the same day. I grab the burglar ring and complete the doggies goal, followed by the skeletons, and finally the void spirits. The only goal that remains outside of the magma sprites, of course, is the pepper rex, and we only need about 10 of them. I collect oak resin and pine tar before completing the pepper rex goal. 3 sweet gem berries have been harvested, and one of them has been given to the old Master Cannoli statue in the secret woods in exchange for a star drop. The remaining 2 will be tossed into the shipping bin. I decide to make the following items using machinery: aged roe, juice, wine, beer, mead, pale ale, raisins, dinosaur mayonnaise, and truffle oil, all of which are for the shipping collection. And I need a truffle oil for a crafting recipe, so I made 2 of them. Over at the Spirits Eve festival, I buy a rare crow and the jack-o'-lantern crafting recipe. And here we are on the final day of fall, day 84. We are ending the season in the best way possible, with one final cranberry harvest. I buy 3 void eggs from Krobus, 1 for the shipping collection, and I'll toss the other 2 into mayonnaise machines to get void mayonnaise. I need 1 of them for a cooking recipe and another for the shipping collection, of course. I take a walk into Caroline's sunroom where she introduces me to a wonderful beverage known as green tea. She's going to send me the crafting recipe for tea saplings in the mail tomorrow morning. I collect a few artisan goods, throw void eggs into mayonnaise machines, and use my faith power on the machines. This power didn't just cause the machines to finish making whatever they were producing, it also resulted in 2 kegs making fiddlehead fern juice and cherry wine. The dehydrator is making dried oranges and the oil maker is making oil. I didn't know this was a thing. We have a lot of work to do during winter, so let's get started. I make 2 tea saplings to begin day 85, which are then planted in the greenhouse. The shadow guy is here, and he's gone. After finding a crocus at the bus stop, I want to quickly show you all something. We can actually use our dragon to fly into the quarry. Now, we haven't officially unlocked the quarry yet, so I won't actually do anything here, but I think this is pretty neat. I continue searching for a snow yam near the community center. Unfortunately, I don't find one, but I do meet the shadow guy again. He gives me a magnifying glass. Thank you. I sell dried cranberries and starfruit as well as a few other bits and bobs. Emily and Demetrius have orders for me. Similar to Robin's order, I'll do Emily's simply to take it out of the rotation. Next, I give a pumpkin to Krobus. A gold quality pumpkin, by the way. Only the best for Krobus. I do not find a nautilus shell at the beach. I began to get frustrated with myself for not recording the moment when Demetrius sent me one back in fall. I decided to take my negative emotions out on the beach, the result of which was me getting a snow yam. Remember when I said I did the math and we should be mastery level 4 after harvesting like 10,000 cranberries during fall? I was wrong. We're not level 4, we are level 5. So every mastery reward has been unlocked. I make mystic tree seeds and plant them in the desert. I finish the day with a round of fishing. I get a lingcod which I need, sweet. I was hoping to get sturgeon roe from a chest because of the Jewels of the Sea book. That didn't happen. What I did get was a Stardrop tea. Now, I wanted to give this to Krobus because today is his birthday and that would have given us like 4 hearts of friendship with him. You will notice, however, that the time is currently 1:50 AM. Unsurprisingly, I make it nowhere near the sewer before passing out. Day 86. No nautilus shell. I spend many a minute trying to get some sturgeon roe. Once again, it doesn't happen. I'm gonna have to get squid ink too, and I can actually feel the dopamine in my body being at an all-time low right now. So I think we'll just make it easier for ourselves and just build a pond. Or maybe not. Well, I never. Robin, I'm adding you to my list of enemies. Day 87. No nautilus shell. I'm noticing a bit of a theme here. We have been having no luck whatsoever since the very beginning of winter. I don't like the way this is going so far. I complete Emily's order, ask Robin to build a pond, and give a gift to Mr. Linus for his birthday. Demetrius has sent me a nautilus shell on day 88, is what I wish I could say, but he didn't. He sent me a rainbow shell. You almost had it, my friend. You were so close. But you sent the wrong thing. Today is the day when I finally accept that we're just not getting a nautilus shell this week. Oh wait, never mind. I found one. We're good. It is my absolute privilege to announce that the community center has finally been completed. The wheeled power doesn't work on mystic trees. I was beginning to feel a bit braggadocious after my community center victory. I had a feeling the wheeled power would indeed not work on the mystic trees. I simply wanted to keep myself humble. Oh little Lulu, I love you just the same. That's right, Lewis has sent us a letter on day 89. We have received 2 whole hearts of friendship with pretty much everybody for completing the bulletin board bundles. I plant winter seeds which become powder melon, toss a sturgeon into the pond, and harvest starfruit. After celebrating the grand reopening of the community center with the villagers, I get to work on making multiple seeds. Wheat, garlic, and melon for golden walnut purposes, and poppy, spangle, blue jazz, and tulip seeds for the Tub of Flowers crafting recipe. Krobus is officially maxed out on day 90. In terms of friendship, that is. I'm going to need a gift for Leo for when I get to Ginger Island. He does love duck feathers, and there are a few here, so they'll do. That's good enough. My animals are not happy with me. Understandably so, to be honest. I haven't done anything with them or for them since getting the items I need from them. Whoops. I collect oak resin, pine tar, and coconuts in the desert. Then I get back on the bus and return to Pelican Town. I couldn't help but feel like there was something I forgot to do in the desert. It turns out the reason why I felt that way was because that's exactly what happened. I forgot to do what I actually went there to do. I returned to the desert and grabbed the crafting recipe for the desert warp totem and a void ghost pendant. I deliver everything William needs to repair the boat. I finished the day with a lovely 900,000 gold. I give the pendant to Krobus on day 91 before setting sail for Ginger Island. Krobus is now officially our roommate, so we are pretty close to getting another star drop. Let's not waste any time whatsoever on the island of Ginger. I enter the jungle where I find our first golden walnut. I get 3 tent kits, a mummified frog, and golden walnut number 2. I complete the gem puzzle in the same way I always do, by guessing where each gem goes. I earn a further 5 walnuts for doing so. I whack a tree inside the treehouse to get golden walnut number 8 before giving one to a parrot. I use my dragon power to collect a couple of walnuts up in the north. I'll come back very soon to get the remainder of the walnuts up here, but first I want to formally introduce myself to Leo. You have to find a total of 10 walnuts in order to do so. I wanted to get that done before doing anything else here on Ginger Island. I use the power of the Weald and a friendship bomb, give him a duck feather, and talk to him for a grand total of 185 friendship points. There's something I discovered pretty early on in spring, and I've almost always forgotten to do it ever since I discovered it. I've done it every once in a while, but nowhere near as much as I really should have. What I'm talking about is the Rite of Fates. This rite is the one that causes machines to finish producing whatever it is they're working on. You can also use it to put villagers in a bubble, spawn fish around them, turn them into a cat or a bear. Now, what I keep forgetting is you get around 60 friendship points if they enjoy whatever prank you do to them. If they don't, you don't get any friendship points. But my point is, I want to say I'll remember to use this on Leo every day, but I can't say that. I would be surprised if I used it any more than 4 or 5 times in total on Leo during the next 3 weeks. Turning our attention to the volcano dungeon, everything is going very well inside here, which I suppose is to be expected considering I'm a dragon. I'm getting golden walnuts from enemies and rocks, and basically everything inside here gives me golden walnuts. That's on top of getting cinder shards, magma caps, dragon teeth, and journal scraps. I even make sure to buy the cooking and crafting recipe being sold by the dwarf on floor 5. And I've defeated around 100 magma sprites by the time I reach the end of this place. I grab 2 more walnuts from these bushes, as well as a prismatic shard from this chest here. Back at the entrance, I fly over to the left for another 2 walnuts. We now have a total of 34. I make my way to the beach where I use 10 walnuts to unlock the west side of the island. Before the night comes to an end, I buy the farmhouse. Day 92 is a big day. I get the ground all nice and ready for all of my seeds. Powder melon, pineapple, wheat, garlic, melon, and starfruit have all been planted. I get a golden walnut from a muscle node and a second one. I get a blue discus when I summoned a spirit. I won't be counting this towards the fishing collection. I'll make sure to get another blue discus the normal way. For now, I'm going to collect every single walnut available to me in this area. I unlock the dig site, clear the area out entirely, and grab even more walnuts. Professor Snail has been freed from the cave he was trapped inside of. I pay a visit to the field office he owns here on the island to see what I can do for him. I answer 2 survey questions for 2 walnuts. Then I donate a mummified frog and bat, all 3 snake artifacts, and 1 of the 6 large animal artifacts. I receive even more walnuts and a mango tree sapling. I'm going to finish planting everything. I will see you tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to day 93. I unlocked the resort, which also opens up the southeast of the island. I complete the mermaid puzzle for another 5 golden walnuts. I dig up number 6 and number 7 in this area. I do everything I can for Leo's friendship. He's already at 1.5 hearts. I toss a couple of new items into the shipping bin. Then I unlock the mailbox and return to Pelican Town. William and Linus have special orders for me. I really want to do both of them for the crafting recipes each one gives as a reward. Alas, I can only choose one. So, William's order it is. He wants 100 bug meat, which should be pretty easy. I crack open a golden coconut to get a golden walnut. The fruit trees in the greenhouse have been harvested. I don't know why I'm mentioning this, it isn't really important. I consume a monster musk and use it to fly through William's order. Literally, I flew all around the mines. I'm using the wonderful parrot trinket. It gives enemies a chance to drop around 250 gold. If you combine that with a monster musk, burglar ring, and the monster compendium book, you're earning a decent chunk of money just from defeating enemies, especially if you find a monster-only floor. I bring the bug meat to William to complete his order. Our journey to get Krobus to 12.5 hearts of friendship is underway on day 94. I collect more fruit and pay a visit to William at the beach. I receive the crafting recipe for the quality bobber during a wonderful conversation with him. I water my crops, work on Leo's friendship, and spend the day in the volcano dungeon. By the time I'm finished here today, I only have to defeat 21 more magma sprites. The magma sprite eradication goal has been completed on day 95. I get 1 walnut from a metal crate, but I don't get the second one. It's worth coming to the dig site every couple of days to break the bone nodes. They can drop some very useful artifacts. All we need for the field office is a tail, a spine, and a skull. Not too shabby. I say hello to Leo and Krobus, place tappers on 3 mystic trees, and the Rite of Fates doesn't work on them. Okay, I can wait, no big deal, but I really would have appreciated the 3 mystic syrup right now, but it's okay. Aside from Leo and then Kent in year 2, the only friendship we have left is Sandy's. This mod really does help with friendships. Krobus has yet to give me the star drop on day 96. That's okay, take your time. I pay a visit to Sandy before wasting some time at the beach. I wanted to get a squid, but they don't spawn until later in the day. I'm not sure what time. I thought they would appear earlier because Squid Fest is happening. I guess not. Maybe they do and I simply got unlucky. I don't know. Thankfully, there are a couple of other fish I'm able to catch. Fish number 1 being the glacier fish. I'm using 2 cork bobbers, deluxe bait, and a dish of the sea, which helps a lot. Moving over to Ginger Island, I catch a walnut, a blue discus, a second walnut, a third walnut, and a lionfish. I get another walnut from this star-shaped pond over here. Then I catch walnut number 4 and get kicked out of the cave. The pirates have taken over. This actually works for me. I can play a game of darts 3 times to get 3 more golden walnuts. To round off today's fishing shenanigans, I catch a stingray and a squid. I place a tapper on the 4th Mystic Tree on day 97, the crops on Ginger Island have been watered, and Sandy is oh so very close to 10 Hearts of Friendship. I pay a visit to the quarry and use my wield power to destroy everything. I am definitely muting the gameplay audio for this place. The noise when I got rid of the rocks was painful. Now that I'm saying this, I'm gonna have to pay very close attention to the gameplay audio all the time. I'm not looking forward to the editing of this video. I'm planting trees here, including mossy trees, because I need moss. Krobus has given me a star drop on day 98. Starfruit is ready, so I'm gonna harvest it, plant more seeds, and throw the fruit into dehydrators. But first, before I forget, I need to visit Leo. Okay, back to work. With my farming duties taken care of, I pay one final visit to Sandy. It was an honor working on your friendship. I meet the wizard up at the railroad. Let's talk about what he wants as do what he wants. The witch stole his ink when they broke up. My job is to visit Krobus and have him open up the mutant bug lair. Krobus is of course not in the sewer, he's inside my house. After correcting my blunder, the door to the mutant bug lair is open. I head inside and spend so much more time trying to catch a slimejack than I wanted to. I got it, and I found an item called the Dark Talisman in a chest, but I still have to plant my starfruit seeds, so we'll continue helping the wizard tomorrow. There is a frog living in the cave on the Ginger Island farm. I talk to him on day 99. I show him the melon, wheat, and garlic I've grown. In return, he gives me 15 walnuts. I've collected over 100 of them in total at this point, so off to Mr. Key's walnut room we go. He wants 100 each of different colored items, in exchange for 35 key gems. The other order was to get 50,000 points in Junimo Kart. Yeah, that won't be happening. Ever. That is the one special order I am physically, mentally, and emotionally unable to do. I can't remember if I mentioned this. I can use my wield power on the mango tree sapling to make it grow a little bit faster. I believe it shortens the growth process by 1 day each time. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's what's going on. Let's return to the wizard's mission. I used the Dark Talisman to open up the entrance to the Witch's Swamp. What happened next should have been a very straightforward series of events. Catch a void salmon, which I did, catch a void mayonnaise, give the mayo to the goblin henchman, enter the witch's house and grab the wizard's ink, and bring the ink to the wizard. I wasn't able to go any further than step 1. I couldn't get a void mayonnaise. In fact, it took so long that I went and bought a void egg and tossed it into a mayonnaise machine. I tried to use faith on it. It didn't work, but I would rather wait 2 hours than try to fish one up again. I buy all of the Joja Cola I need for the blue item that Mr. Key wants. Then I teleport over to Ginger Island. I harvest pineapples and powdermelon, and I complete Mr. Key's order. I use 25 of my 35 key gems to buy 20 magic bait and the key to the town. I collect my void mayonnaise before spending a bit of time talking to Linus. He teaches me the crafting recipe for wild bait. I give the void mayonnaise to the goblin henchman, and after so many lines of dialogue, he finally runs away. I grab the ink and bring it to the wizard. Day 100 is here, and with it comes a skull. I got it from a golden coconut. I'm realizing now that was a weird sentence to start the day with. I probably should have given more context before saying it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I crack open geode after geode after geode. I've got so many of them. I only need one more mineral. and a considerable amount of artifacts. I'm not worried about them though. I can trade my Omni Geodes for artifact troves, which I'll be doing pretty soon. The final mineral I need can be found in frozen geodes. I have 9 or 10 of them, so hopefully I get the mineral from one of those because I want to save all of my Omni Geodes for said artifact troves. I spend around a minute panning at the dig site. The fossilized tail can be acquired by doing this. I feel like I'll have better luck if I upgrade the pan to iridium quality before trying to get the artifact. Clinton isn't here, so I'm gonna go catch the legend instead. I'm using the same setup I used for the glacier fish, so this was actually a very enjoyable experience. I do a bit of fishing near the submarine while waiting for it to open. When it does, I head inside and catch a blobfish, a spookfish, and a midnight squid. The only fish we have to catch is the cave jelly. It isn't a fish, but I need it for the collection. I spend the remainder of the night on floor 100 of the mines. Was I able to get a cave jelly? No. The mango tree is doing very well on day 101. I harvest taro roots, water my starfruit, and give my pan to Clinton. Then I spend, no exaggeration by the way, the entire day trying to get cave jelly. I entered the mines at around 9 AM. I got the jelly at midnight. I want to feel frustrated by what happened, and I did. Believe me, I really did. But that is in the past. I'm too focused on being happy about finally finishing off the fishing collection to be frustrated in this moment. So everything is simply gravy right now. I make a smoker and toss my legend into it. Good night, sweet prince. I'm fully aware I'm breaking a cardinal rule of Stardew here by not putting the legend into a pond, but I don't need the money from it. To tell the truth, the only reason why I smoked it and am throwing it into the shipping bin is because I need to ship a smoked fish. There's no other reason. Star drop number 6 has been obtained from William on day 102, and all I had to do for it was complete the entire fishing collection. It was a pleasure doing it wasn't a pleasure doing business with you, William. I'm tired of fishing. 3 wonderful mystic syrup are waiting for me in the desert. Yoink! I toss a mystic syrup into the shipping bin, make 2 treasure totems, and trade Omni Geodes for artifact troves. I can't even begin to describe the relief I felt when I got the last mineral I need from a frozen geode. I didn't have a backup plan. All of my geodes were traded for artifact troves. It would have been a disaster if the frozen geode didn't give me that mineral. I donate items to the museum and I use a treasure totem in town. I don't get a single artifact I need. To be fair, I did use it in a very bad position. I use a second one at the beach and get glass shards. I find nothing of value at the dig site, unlock the island trader, and say hello to Leo. I don't really have anything else to do right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get a prehistoric scapula from a skeleton in the mines. And there we go. Lovely. The smoked legend sold for 31,499 gold. I have a complaint as we begin day 103. I did a bit of research into the legend, specifically the amount of gold we should have gotten for it. We got 31,499 gold. What we should have got is 31,500 gold. Where is my 1 gold? Who stole my money? Somebody out there has 1 gold that belongs to me. And just like when somebody farts but doesn't admit it, I'm going to find out who it is. Believe you me. The traveling cart isn't selling a rare crow I need. We have 3 more opportunities, and then we're in trouble. I'm a little annoyed with myself. As far as I know, it's guaranteed to be sold at the Festival of Ice. I didn't attend that festival because I was pretty positive that the rare crow would have appeared in the traveling cart by now. I'm gonna hope for the best. It's time to unlock the casino. Battery pack in the tunnel, rainbow shell at the railroad, beets in the fridge in Lewis's house. Sorry, bear with me for a moment. I have to buy the Queen of Sauce cookbook. Okay, all good. Solar essence in the mouth of a skeleton, and casino membership card. I head inside and buy 2,700 key coins. I decide to play a game of Calico Jack. I lose the first game and win the following 3. Now I've got 8,700 coins. I don't want to push my luck, so I buy the remaining 1,300 I need for the rare crow. I make all of the crafting and cooking recipes that I'm able to at this moment in time. Gustavo is on Ginger Island, which means I can buy the tropical curry cooking recipe. I was beginning to get worried about that one. Good timing. Hello, Leo. I fish up the spine and donate it along with a skull. I grab the banana pudding cooking recipe and the deluxe retaining soil crafting recipe from the island trader. I do the same thing in the mines as I buy a rare crow and a crafting recipe from the dwarf. I'm running out of things to do on a daily basis. New, unique things, that is. Here is what I did from day 104 through day 112. Starfruit, scarecrows, mango tree, Leo, no rare crow, uh-oh. The same 2 special orders from Mr. Key, Leo, Gunther wants 100 bones, I get 100 bones, Gunther receives 100 bones. The crafting recipe for the bone mill has been unlocked. Iridium pan, I find the amphibian fossil, which means I only need a trilobite for the museum. Panning. More panning. Even more panning. So much panning. Shout out to Poxiel. It feels appropriate to say that right now. Finally, fossilized tail. The field office is done and dusted. I received the crafting recipe for the ostrich incubator, 6 walnuts and a banana tree sapling. I plant it in the greenhouse and use my wield power on it. Mystic syrup, treasure totem, no trilobite. Sad times. The sturgeon pond has produced a roe. I replace it with a squid and harvest tea leaves. Banana tree. I toss roe into a preserve jar and a tea leaf into a keg to make caviar and green tea. Starfruit? No rare crow. I have finally remembered to use the Rite of Fates on Leo for some extra friendship. I'm rather proud of myself for finally remembering to do so. Or I would be, if he had responded positively to the prank I pulled. He didn't enjoy it, so I didn't get any friendship points. Starfruit, squid ink. I threw a golden animal cracker into the squid and sturgeon pond. That's why I got 2 of each item they produce. I collect dried starfruit and green tea and toss coffee beans into kegs. I make a few dishes and use faith on the machines to get coffee and caviar. I also turned Krobus into a bear by accident. That was a jump scare. I didn't enjoy that. Not one bit. I make 2 treasure totems and I sell dried starfruit and a few other items. We've got 12 million gold. I have around 200 more starfruit growing on Ginger Island. I'm really hoping after we turn them into dried starfruit, we'll have a total of 13 million gold. I finally get a trilobite. I bring it to the museum, earning the final star drop. Leo is at 7 hearts of friendship, very, very close to 8, might I add. And here we are on day 112, the final day of our first year. the traveling cart is not selling the rare crow. It won't be sold again until fall of next year. So at the very earliest, we'll be finishing our playthrough at that point. Leo has finally reacted positively to the Rite of Fate. Oh, okay, it's 50 points. And that is it for winter. Mr. Key has 2 very appealing orders for me on day 113. I want to do the key bean one. Those 100 key gems would go a long way. Alas, I need radioactive ore a lot more than key gems right now, so it's gotta be the other one. I talked to Birdie to begin her quest. It's the same story as always. She gives us an item, we give it to somebody else, they give us a different item, we give that item to somebody else, and so on and so forth until we receive the pirate's locket. The muscles, the muscles, the muscles, they don't just give me 1 walnut, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, or 6, or... they give me none. Yeah, none. Okay. Thankfully, I have much better news when it comes to Leo. We only need less than 100 friendship points to max out his friendship. Robin has an order for me. She wants me to gather 1,000 pieces of wood. Okay, not too bad. Kent pays me a visit to let me know he's back in town. I'll be seeing you again very shortly. I use a rain totem because eels only spawn when it's raining. I'll have to make sure to get 2 of them tomorrow. And now for Birdie's quest. Oh wait, hang on, sorry, I have to give Kent a gift and do the usual magic stuff. Okay, Birdie's quest. Kent, Gustavo, Sandy, George, the wizard, and William. I take the locket William gave me and give it to Birdie. I receive 5 walnuts and the crafting recipe for fairy dust. I collect a few prize tickets and trade all of them in. The most important item I get by far is of course a star drop tea. The trees in the quarry are looking very green. That is exactly what I was hoping to see. Today's Skull Cavern run was definitely the most difficult but also the most lucrative. The enemies inside here are dropping a lot of money because of my trinket. But also, the big, I don't know why, but I struggle quite a bit to say the word slime. The big slime can drop key gems. It seems to always drop 2 of them at a time because of the burglar ring. So we're already getting a nice boost to our total key gem counter without even finishing the order. Speaking of finishing the order, I pass out on floor 97, and I didn't get a single piece of radioactive ore. Let's try that again on day 114. Today was very similar to yesterday. We received key gems, ores, prismatic shards, money, all of the good stuff. And I actually did get radioactive ore today, on top of completing the order. Between said order and all of the monsters dropping key gems, I've got 104 of them. Very good. The banana tree will be ready on day... Spring 15? Day 127? But it won't really be ready on that day. If we use our wield power on the tree every day, we could bring that down to day 120-ish, hopefully. Leo's friendship is finally maxed out. The only person that remains is Kent. 2 eels have been caught, which means we only need to get a banana for the cooking recipes. I fish up the final fishing walnut before the night comes to an end. I use my walnuts to buy the Parrot Express on day 115, banana tree. I throw a radioactive bar into the shipping bin. A spicy eel and a fried eel have been cooked, and I've made fairy dust. and a bone mill, an ostrich incubator, deluxe retaining soil, and weathered floor. The first moss collection session takes place. I should get all of the moss I need for the Statue of Blessings, that's the one, within about 4 weeks, I would say. Day 116, Banana Tree. I give a prismatic shard to Kent, do the magic stuff, and finish off with 2 Stardrop teas. The final friendship is done. Starfruit is ready, and I don't get a walnut from a muscle node. I collect 300 wood for Robin's order, which isn't all of it, not even close, but it's a good start. I throw Starfruit into dehydrators and buy the rest of the wood I need. Order complete. Day 117, Banana Tree. We have received the crafting recipe for the stone chest and the cooking recipe for crispy bass. I make both of them, buy the big stone chest crafting recipe from the dwarf, and collect more moss. Kent has sent the cooking recipe for super meal on day 118, Banana Tree. I cook the super meal, leaving us with only a banana pudding to make. The big stone chest has been crafted and I've collected dried starfruit. I buy the gold clock and 3 obelisks. Believe me when I say I do want to get the island obelisk as well, but I need 10 bananas for it, and 1 million gold. Things are bad right now in the financial department. Luckily, I earned 600,000 gold from the dried starfruit. I have what could very well be considered a smart idea on day 119. Caroline is eventually going to give us an order to grow and ship 100 pineapples or taro roots. Or she could ask us to find and ship 100 pieces of ginger, but hopefully we don't get that one. What I'm going to do in the meantime is work towards planting 100 pineapples. Then, as soon as we get the order from Caroline, we can complete it on the same day she gives it to us. My plan continues into day 120 as I plant more pineapples. Mr. Key has given me 2 orders I really don't want to do. It isn't difficult to get prismatic shards in the caverns, but I've already been inside there so many times, I don't really want to go back there. Like, it's not gonna be... Wait, hang on. One of the goods in my satchel, I remember it turns a ruby, an aquamarine, and an emerald into a prismatic shard. If I do that 4 times, will that count towards the order? I hope so. Demetrius, I've already done your order. I don't want to do it again. The banana tree has fully grown on day 121, and I've made 4 prismatic shards. I harvest and plant more pineapples, and I complete Mr. Key's order. 144 key gems. We only need 36 more. Day 122. Banana. Day 123. Banana. Yeah, I can see where this is going. Here is what happened from day 123 all the way up until the final day of our playthrough. I collect more moss and bananas. Demetrius is like, what are we doing here? What is this? He's trying to sabotage me, I know he is. I tend to my pineapple duties and get 2 walnuts from muscle nodes. Only 1 more walnut remaining. Well, 1 more from a muscle node, that is. Mr. Key wants me to make it to floor 100 in the caverns without eating or drinking anything. I automatically consume food and potions because of the mod I'm using, so this is going to be really easy. And I've already got it done. Nice. I almost made a massive mistake. It occurred to me that the game is going to realize I've planted all of these pineapples, and it's going to give me the order for taro roots instead. There is no way that doesn't happen. So I'm going to plant 100 taro roots too. How do you like them apples? I finally have all 13 bananas I need. I cook the final dish, the banana pudding. I sell a bunch of items to earn over 300,000 gold. Mr. Key really wants me to play Junimo Kart? I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I am dog water at that game. I suppose I can do the other order? Which means we have to go to the Skull Cavern once a- Wait, no we don't. I only have one more thing to unlock with my golden walnuts. The bridge right here in the volcano dungeon. I've got 7 walnuts remaining, which I trade for 14 key gems. I can finally buy all of the crafting recipes inside this room. I place a banana on a podium to get 3 walnuts. I make all of the crafting recipes I got with my key gems, leaving us with 4 more to unlock and 5 more to make. I have to get the final rare crow and special orders from Linus, Clinton and Caroline. And I need a bit more moss to make the Statue of Blessings. I buy the 4th and final obelisk and I accept an order from Linus. One final moss collecting session takes place. 4 more crafting recipes, 4 more walnuts. Linus's order has been completed and fiber seeds have been made. I get 1 walnut from a muscle node and the final 3 walnuts from doing the Simon Says game. I'm more than ready for Caroline's order. Look at all of these pineapples and taro roots. You've gotta be kidding me. We're in summer now, by the way. Clinton wants me to defeat 50 dust sprites. Done. I appreciate your cooperation here, Clinton. The Geode Crusher has been made. There are now only 2 things standing in the way of us achieving 100% perfection. A solar panel and a deluxe scarecrow. Caroline has finally given me a special order and I couldn't be well, I knew she was going to do this. Wait a minute. She gave me the taro roots one. I knew it. I knew we were going to get this one. The game realized we planted pineapples and gave us taro roots. I know how this game works. It can be very cruel when it wants to be. After receiving the crafting recipe for the solar panel, I do not make it. I don't have enough gold bars. I collect gold ore in the mines, toss it into a heavy furnace, and destroy the furnace. I was trying to use faith on it. It didn't work. Then I accidentally summoned a meteor when I swapped to the 3rd square in my inventory. And yeah. I still have the furnace, but the gold ore is gone. I'm gonna buy the ore from Clinton and let it smelt in his shop overnight. I'll come back tomorrow. Okay, hi. Thank you for keeping an eye on my furnace, Clinton. In fact, you can keep it as a token of my appreciation. All I need now is a rare crow from the traveling cart. So let's jump ahead to fall. Nope, nope, nope. Yes. The crafting recipe for the deluxe scarecrow has been received on day 183. So I craft it. When I leave the house on day 184, the game lets me know that I've achieved 100% completion. I could spend a few days decorating the farm, but I feel like it's reflective of the way this playthrough has gone since late winter, maybe even earlier. Very messy. It feels more appropriate for me to leave the farm as it is. As I fly to the summit, I have the bittersweet privilege of announcing that our adventure has finally come to an end. This was a lot of fun. I did make quite a few mistakes and I got unlucky with multiple things. In my defense though, I really do believe the game was actively fighting against me at times in order to delay my progress. I still can't believe the whole taro root situation, to be honest. The game really did try to do what I predicted it would. Unbelievable. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed watching this adventure. If you want to try the mod yourself, you can find a link to it in the description, along with the other mods I use. I want to give a very special shout out to our channel members: J Sky, Shanjanaya Burton, Victoria Chorneville, Brianna Rutt, Mervyn Set, and Siesta Kira. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And with that, I will see you all in the next video. Have a good one.